answer has finished. Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business? The Honourable Dr Jonathan Coleman.
Mr Speaker, the phrase barbecue at Phil Goff's has gone down in New Zealand political folklore as a euphemism for a coup-plotting meeting. And boy, does the Labour Party need such a get-together just now, because they are in an absolutely dire strait. But the problem for them, Mr Speaker, is that Phil Goff has pulled down the hood on his barbecue, wheeled it away, and quite frankly, these days, he's far more interested in spending time with National Party cabinet ministers than with his previous colleagues. So, Mr Speaker, the real question is, with the Labour Party in the state that it is, where will they be having the 2016 equivalent of the barbecue at Phil Goff's? I don't know, it might be the DJ Mega Mix session at Jacinda Ardern's. That's a possibility. It won't be the Chinese takeaway at Phil Twyford's. But my money, really, I tell you, is probably on the mid-afternoon nap at Grant Robertson's, and I don't know how far that's going to get them. But, Mr Speaker, in his valedictory, you'll notice that Phil Goff, he spent a lot of time praising the Roger Douglas years. He wasn't too keen to talk about the current Labour Party. He was very much aligned, I think, with Nick Leggett in his comments that in 8 years in opposition, the Labour Party does not have anything to show. So those guys are in real trouble, because when you've got Andrew Little getting advice from Helen Clark that, you know, son, you've got to get back to the centre, and he's saying, well, that's actually meaningless and a little bit hollow. And when you've got Vernon Small saying, well, that response sounds strangely intense and odd, you know that these people over there will be looking for a place for a barbecue pretty soon, and they know it's got to be urgent. So literally and metaphorically, for Andrew Little, it's going to be interesting to see what's on the barbecue for 2016. But when you stand back and look at the big picture, as the Minister of Finance was saying earlier, you know, there's only 3 other countries in the world who are in New Zealand's position. You've got to look at that helicopter view. I mean, wages growing far faster than inflation. So wages up 25% over the last 8 years compared to inflation of about 12% cumulatively. You've got unemployment continuing to drop, and you've got the books in balance. I mean, that is an amazing position to be in. A future track of 3.5% to 4% growth for out years, depending on who you listen to, giving the government options over what happens with those surpluses. So when you look at the state of the public services and what we focused on, there's a lot to celebrate. The health system is running fantastically. A great injection of $568 million at the budget. Record levels of expenditure, $16.1 billion. We are doing more elective surgery than ever before, so we've raised those electives by about 60,000 a year, from around 120 to 180,000. We've raised the availability of appointments by 110,000, from 430,000 to 540,000. I was talking today in the House, Mr Speaker, about what's happened in terms of those free GP visits for under 13s. You know, far fewer people going to ED departments as a result of that. So our young people are staying out of hospital. They're staying well for longer, very much aligned with the health strategy. We've heard about housing. In my electorate of Northcote, you know, fantastic redevelopment of the Northcote Town Centre, where 400 state houses are going to be replaced by 1,200 affordable houses. So that is the sort of progress we're getting. We've had great house building projects in Christchurch. We've heard about Tamaki. We've got land for 30,000 new dwellings across Auckland. Real progress being made. Real innovative steps being taken by the Minister of Education to raise standards to get the education system moving. The Minister of Social Development, Anne Tolley, continuing to get people off benefits and back into work. So we are focusing on the things that really matter for people. And when you look at the choices that the electorate's going to face in 2017, there is going to be a real clear difference there for them. There's going to be this 8, 9 years by that stage of clear achievement, focusing on the things that are important to New Zealanders, the economy, law and order, health and education. And meanwhile, what will those on the other side have to show for their 9 years in opposition? Very little. We haven't heard any policy from them, no new ideas. All we we hear are these rumours of dissent and how they would like to remove Andrew Little, but of course with their crazy constitutional arrangements, they've got absolutely no chance of ever achieving that. So, Mr Speaker, Christmas 2016, where's the barbecue going to be? It'll be interesting.
The question is that